but they had moments a year ago. I think this team this year will have more than moments because of Haggerty in general.
And so can they get back into the upper echelon of the Big 12? Away we go, partners. Some preseason hoops. There's been a lot of good games on the hardwood today. Here's another.
There's another good one from two elite conferences that make up 12 of the top 25, and immediately Missouri showing what they're going to be like this year. Big, strong, and powerful at the rim.
Well, tonight's going to be a night we're going to unpack these rosters on both sides. And on possession number one, it's one of the newcomers from Missouri, Sean Phillips, with that two-hand slam. There's a whistle on this side of the floor. You just saw Kansas State's starting lineup. Again, Haggerty, number 4 in the purple. Averaged more than 20 a game last year at Memphis. That was a really good Memphis team. Hit the portal and is now playing in the Big 12 for Kansas State.
You see Bashir on the outside with the pull from way outside. He's one of the best shooters in all of college basketball. Number 1 to transfer from Monmouth.
So, Tim, all 5 Kansas State players on the floor, they're all first-year Wildcats. Not a single one was on the roster a year ago. They very much reloaded and retooled.
Well, that's today's world, and you know what you do from one year to the next really depends on how successful you were with that previous team. And Kansas State didn't like what they had, so they went out and found a new roster, and I like this new roster. Missouri is not unlike what Missouri did a year ago, and you saw that success. They kept a lot of good core players from a year ago and added some good special ones as well.
Nate Johnson, last year Player of the Year at Akron in the MAC. This is that fall away for Kansas State. That's knocked down on the drive, and it stays here with Mizzou. So there is Dennis Gates' starting 5. So they bring back 3 starters from a year ago. You see Robinson and Mitchell are 2 of them. Trent Pierce not starting, dealing with a little bit of a nagging lower body injury. And filling out that starting 5, Sebastian Mack, Javon Porter, and then Phillips, who had that monster throwdown in the previous possession.
Well, Kevin, coaches have now adapted to the portal. It took a while to figure out who's going to be available, how do you go about it. But you've got to be prepared, and you can't just wait till the season ends and guys put their name in the portal. You have to kind of be ready. You have to have a database of the good players in America, and if in fact they do want to leave, you have to be ready to move quickly.
Rapique, by the way, tied up Phillips that time, and so Rapique, very physical, number 0 in the purple, forces the tie-up. Possession going back this way. That time Haggerty lost it. This is Javon Porter, got stripped, and Johnson takes it away for the Wildcats. Lead feed to Bashir. He's the marksman. Misfired that time. And it should stay here. Yeah, it was ricocheted off of Robinson's back. And so here is Jerome Tang, the 4th-year boss. Remember, his first season won Big 12 Coach of the Year. They had that sensational 26-win season, went to the Elite 8. Last couple of years have been so-so. And to your point, they do feel very confident and encouraged that the transfer haul that they brought in is perhaps a bit more talented than a year ago. They got some good guards, and Jerome Tang likes his backcourt.
Yeah, I just thought it was always my 2 daughters that brought in hauls. But now if you're a college basketball coach, you need to bring in a haul if you've had a season that you didn't like. And you know, the turnaround that Dennis Gates did a year ago is one of the most remarkable turnarounds I've seen in watching college basketball for many, many years. To go from 0-18 to the NCAA tournament is really a tribute to him and his staff and their player development. You know, they just put their head down and went out and got really good players, but also developed some good young players too for the long haul.
Yep. Robinson, one of those examples. Pierce, another. Just an epic turnaround. And so as a head coach, this being his 7th year as a head man, previously at Cleveland State, 3 times he's guided teams to the NCAA tournament. But of course, most impressively at this level, Mark Mitchell on the drive, stuck with it and went up strong.
We talked about his versatility. Clearly, a guy can play outside, inside, can play all 5 positions, can guard all 5 positions. Dennis Gates needs him to up his rebounding numbers.
Now, this is Missouri basketball, their brand. They love to get out and run. And Mark Mitchell is going to the line for one more.
Well, we're talking about his versatility, not only the ability to score around the box, to bring the ball up, to pass from the perimeter, make shots from the outside, but you see his ability just to take the ball in transition over a smaller player, and just the footwork and the ability to finish in traffic through contact.
Now he's about 6'9". He's going to play the 4. Well, he looks pretty good bringing the ball up. Dennis Gates, he raves about his versatility. Looks very agile, lean here in his senior season.
He does, and Dennis talked about he's used to playing with long, lengthy players, what he did when he was an assistant for a long time at Florida State and they have stuff in their mind that they want to do, but it's interesting to see as we get into the second half, I think the competitive juices will flow a little bit more for not only the players, but the coaches as well, because you mentioned it, the season is coming. So you got to try to see what you have out there and maybe perfect a couple lineups and see what lineups work best.
10 days away, November 3rd is opening night. Porter wants 3, way off that time. You mentioned the competitive juices. I think we've seen some amped up moments. Players are getting their bearings here. Again, first time against a different jersey, a different team on the floor in the lead up to the start of the year.
It's good for the coaches too to stand over there and bark at their guys a little bit, talk to the refs, turn the lights on. Jerome Tang today, they were working on their timeout huddles, how they sit during timeouts. All those things are so important because you got to have everything buttoned up for November 3rd. And yeah, finally the NCAA took them a while, but then they've made these games legal to play. It used to be you'd have to play it for a charity, which was good. But now, I mean, you want these games. You saw Louisville and Kansas earlier today, Purdue and Kentucky, UConn is playing Michigan State. And there's, as Jerome Tang calls him, Abdi Bashir, the best shooter in the country, according to Jerome Tang.
You were waiting for him to knock one down. Kansas State by 4 in the first. And so our Friday night coverage, it continues in Columbia, Missouri. Welcome to Mizzou Arena with the former Providence head man, Tim Welsh, Kevin Fitzgerald with you. Preseason hoops, 10 days from opening night. And we got the old conference rivals going head-to-head, Kansas State and Missouri. They're battling tonight in a preseason tilt. You missed about first 7 minutes of this one. Just getting started. Kansas State by 4. A rejection that time from Anthony Robinson. Smothered the shot attempt. Kansas State stays with it. And Nate Johnson hammers it down.
Both teams really playing at a fast pace right now with a lot of intensity defensively. And you call it preseason, exhibition, whatever you want, but when these lights go on, these guys are going to play at a higher level than they have in practice. They're so anxious to get out there and play a different team. And both coaches talked about how important the breakdown of the film will be after they play this game tonight. Not necessarily winning or losing, but I have a feeling that there's no doubt both these coaches, as we get into the second half, will be playing this game to win for sure.
Incredibly valuable. A night like this is for both programs in the lead up to the season. How about Robinson, the body control going up that time? One of the key returners from a 20-win season a year ago for Mizzou. And here is more of that defensive intensity. The latest from Sebastian Mack, the first-year Tiger. Swatted that one out of bounds.
A little Mick Cronin influence turned into Dennis Gates protecting the rim, and that's what he talked about with all this length. We want to block a lot of shots. We want to force to outside the paint and put a lot of pressure on the perimeter, and then give help and then recover with our length.
Boy, right there again, several examples here in this sequence.
It's one thing, Kevin, to have length, but you have to use it. You have to use it properly. If you're playing a soft defense and you're not aggressive, you don't get in the passing lanes, you don't get up on the basketball and trace it and force to different spots on the floor that you want to push the ball to, then it's pretty much wasted. But Dennis Gates is a proven defensive coach, and he knows what he has out there, and he's going to play a lot of guys. He's going to play a lot of bigs together as well.
Both teams, they've got roster sizes of 14. We would expect to see just about everybody today. Anthony Robinson, the reliable point guard, gets his man in the air, and he connects. Nice move from Anthony Robinson, the junior from Tallahassee.
9 points a game a year ago. We know about his defense, but those numbers offensively will go up just because of the fact he's going to play close to 30 minutes a game. Last year he played about 23.
Missouri turning him over now. Bounce pass under Boateng. Count it! And the foul.
Well, why not? He gets a little love from the team. He got a little bit more love, not from the N1, but from that sax performance pregame.
He performs the national anthem, and he's performing on the court. He'll be at the line, Tim, for one more when we return. Robinson with the big-time J at the line. Boateng can do it all, musically and basketball.
Multi-talented.
And so far, in a game where you're facing evenly matched competition, yeah, Robinson's off to a good start. This is what's neat about a night like today, preseason ball, 10 days from opening night. Rapique, that's good.
Yeah, they like Rapique. Big size, got good hands, good footwork on the interior. They need somebody like him.
Oh, T.O. Barrett, aggressive attack. That's a sophomore from Oklahoma City.
Barrett has the experience as well, trying to get into that rotation. I'm sure he will give them some good guard depth along with Jaden Stone, who can really score.
So back on the floor now for Kansas State, number 4. That's P.J. Haggerty, the All-American a year ago at Memphis. Misfired from 15. Boy, Phillips just going to work on the big man that time.
Sean Phillips played in the Big 12 a year ago at Arizona State. Both games had double-doubles against K-State.
Oh, Rapique buries the 3. And Dennis Gates calls timeout. Moments of this game would look like Missouri's got the 7-point edge. They've been on a rampage of late.
Well, it's amazing. You know, the SEC, you think about it, maybe 10 years ago, it was Kentucky, and you know, everybody else would have their seasons here and there. And Alabama has emerged, Tennessee's emerged. They've hired some great coaches. We saw what Florida did a year ago. But in football, same deal. I mean, you got Missouri and Vandy. Game day tomorrow. You've got Texas A&M is good. LSU is tremendous. I mean, the football part of it used to be Georgia and Alabama. Now it's join the party. Let's get left behind. Ole Miss.
It's a gauntlet in any sport, any and all.
Well, the commitment's there. The commitment to facilities, to hiring really good coaches, to now to backing your program with tremendous NIL support, resources, and that's the one thing the SEC really has done well in basketball is facilities and hiring great coaches.
Well, you saw the foul there on the on that side of the floor, so Kansas State to inbound. We have our updated foul provision tonight. What is it? Each player's getting 7 today. Neither coach wants to run into a situation where you have to sit a guy down because he picked up 2 fouls in the first half. So well, it makes sense for a game like today.
It does, but as a coach, I think these guys will take a different look at that as you get towards that number. That means you're not playing very good defense. If you've got 5, 6 fouls, that means what are you doing? That means you should probably be sitting anyway.
Yep.
But at least in theory, it's good because you don't want guys fouling out. I mean,
Kansas State could have used that one. That was an open look for P.J. Haggerty. The All-American last year at Memphis, was a very highly coveted recruit in the portal this offseason. Chose Kansas State. He's got another year of eligibility after this year. Just misfired that time. So back on this end of the floor.
I do remember the days of the Big East where he tried 6 fouls in conference games for 1 year. It was A lot of blood left on the floor. Didn't really work out well.
There was already a lot of blood with 5 fouls in that league.
Exactly. They didn't need an extra one.
That's a foul, by the way, on the drive in. And so we'll have 2 shots. Well, it was a year ago. Remember, the SEC gets 14 teams in the tournament, breaks the Big East Soul record of 11. And it appears very much like it has been the last couple of years. Maybe the 2 strongest leagues in college basketball are the 2 respective leagues of these 2 teams.
Well, they're not going anywhere, that's for sure. These two conferences, obviously, Bruce Pearl leading Auburn is a big blow to the league. But Stephen, I'm sure, will do a tremendous job. He's been right next to a great coach his whole life, so I'm sure he paid attention. He wouldn't have the job if he wasn't ready for it. So I'm sure they won't skip a beat, and his dad will still have a couple early coffees with him if needed.
Yeah, Kamari McGriff, by the way, with the hammer. He's going to go to the line to complete the 3-point play.
And McGriff is a guy that UNC Wilmington, he did a good job there, and he's also moved well without the ball. 6'9", 230.
One of the 10 newcomers. He got the start tonight, along with guys like Haggerty and Nate Johnson, Abdi Bashir, some of the other really highly touted transfer players.
PJ Haggerty talks about his scoring, but he's an excellent passer. He's very unselfish. He's going to run the team, make sure everybody's involved.
A game like this, Tim, so important, especially if you want to call it in this era. Kansas State, 10 new players. So it's much more beneficial to play evenly matched competition in the lead up to opening night.
I think you could have done this and got away with it in the old days because of the fact that, you know, the first time you're going to gather your team together is October 15th, and then you're going to practice for 5 weeks, and then you're going to play it for real. But now you can practice all summer. You got the 4 hours a week. You start earlier in September now with practice, so these teams have more opportunity to get to know each other, and they need it. They absolutely need it. It's hard as a coach to know what you have. You know what you have individually, but how are they going to mesh when the lights go on?
That was Jaden Stone at the line. One of the first-year Tigers, his first points. Haggerty gets to the rim. You see how clever he is on the move to the rack.
Makes that look real easy, Kevin. Just finds that gap, not a lot of wasted motion, and just tremendous footwork at the rim.
Extra pass to Stone. He wants it. Stone connects.
Some guys are born to score. That's Jaden Stone. This guy can score, and it doesn't matter what level. He was at West Virginia a year ago. Didn't play because of a concussion, but he 21 a game at Detroit, and you see what he can do. And here's Haggerty just trying to force him to his left a little bit, but he just finds that little angle, and Stone doesn't need a lot of room. Quick trigger.
You nailed it. 21 a game 2 years ago, and he was a very prolific three-point shooter. And that is his game.
You can see him. He's ready. He is locked and loaded over there on that wing. He doesn't need a lot of room, but he's got that perfect form, catches it, not a lot of wasted motion.
So meanwhile, after the foul on Stone, Nate Johnson was at the line, and front rim's the first of possibly 2. So it's Missouri by 8. T.O. Barrett, little spin, leave it for Phillips, and he fumbled it. It will stay here with Missouri, but boy, there was about to be another explosion at the rim. That's the 7-footer Sean Phillips, who has been impactful on the interior so far.
Right, another guy with experience, obviously Big 12 experience. And that's the other thing. You don't know if you take a player from a level that's below the Big 12 or the SEC, you think and you hope they can play, but you don't always know how they're going to react to the highest level of competition.
There's a turnover, and Haggerty takes it all the way.
Haggerty's well-traveled, but experienced at a high level.
Yes, fourth year, fourth different school. He's been darn good wherever the heck he's been, and regardless of the level. Missouri with another close range make. Bashir, all the space in the world. Could not hit it, knocked away by Stone.
4 schools in 4 years. Think of all the friends you have. I'm kind of jealous. I don't have that many friends from college. You know, you've got 4 years. You've got a big Rolodex, as they would say back in the day.
They'll do it again at the start of every year. Is there a foul? There is. So that was Aaron Rowe, the freshman from right here in Columbia. So he'll be at the line for 3. Aaron Rowe going through his freshman orientation, or has already at this point.
A local product. Obviously, they like him. See his quickness. Get on that. Get in the weight room, which will be so important in this conference.
So while we have a moment, every Saturday, Marty and McGee, the SEC Nation crew, they get you ready for all the action on the gridiron. Game previews, the latest news from around the conference. So tomorrow they're in Norman, starting at 9 a.m., 8 Central. Both of those shows right here on the network. Oklahoma faces Ole Miss at noon Eastern tomorrow. Yeah, so Rowe goes to high school Father Tolton Catholic, about 10 minutes down the road. Got a couple of Columbia guys on both sides. And there's Rowe, top 100 ranked player, 4-star. Sits down. So on this end, E.K. Garuke gets a close range look.
The pick and slip there. Good job by Haggerty, though. You can see this brings out so much to the table. Number 1 being a guy that has real good basketball IQ.
He's got 3 assists in this first half to go along with the 7 points. That one's out of bounds. And so Kansas State takes over.
The league is tremendous, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. And Houston has now carved out a spot at the top of the league every year. Now BYU is in the mix as well. Arizona, now that they're in the league for their 2nd year, they figured out now. The hardest thing sometimes, Kevin, is the first year in the league, just the travel, the new arenas, the new venues, and getting used to the competition and the style of play.
This new era of Big 12 basketball. By the way, there's the aforementioned Elias Rapik, the junior from Berlin. First year with the program. Last year, of course, played overseas. He has gotten a lot of minutes in this first half.
And by the way, Kansas is picked 6th, I believe, in the league. Some maybe by the coaches. I don't know. There's so many polls these days. They're hard to keep track of. I don't pay that much attention to them, but I would not venture to guess that Kansas would finish 6th, but stranger things, they look pretty good tonight when they played Louisville.
Yes, they did. They won earlier. This really fun night for all of the hoop heads that are dying for this season to get going. Remember, opening night's 10 days away. We have had some really quality, just power conference against power conference team matchups today. Kansas, Louisville, and then before us earlier on the network, Kentucky, Purdue.
You know, Kevin, we all love college football, and rightfully so, and we're going to watch it all day tomorrow. And there's a good shot by Cruz. He really can light it up from the corner as well. But you know, the thing in the past is that, well, college basketball doesn't get started until January. Well, they've done a better job, programs and the networks, ESPN as well, SEC network, of putting together better matchups early in the season. And this is another good step to build interest in the game.
Oh, Robinson was just clowning on the rookie that time, Kostic. So Anthony Robinson now with 13. That was a long 2. He is 6 for 6 from the floor. Missouri extends its lead to 12. Baseline drive and kick out to Kostic. Passes up on the 3. Good closeout. Lob it up. E.K. Garuke could not convert it.
He's got to come down with that. He's a little too far to try to lob, but comes back the other way. You better get back and get your defense set, because here comes Missouri. Makes, misses, turnovers. They are attacking.
You talked about football season. It's a running back just lower the shoulder right there. This is Haggerty trying to turn the corner. P.J. Haggerty draws the foul. Robinson went tumbling.
We talked about
Mizzou lead. Yeah, it grows.
Jaden Stone being ready to lock and load, and now Jacob Cruz, another guy, just had his feet set and ready to go. And that's what Dennis Gates talked about. We've got a lot of guys that can make shots, and we're not going to rely on one guy to make a lot of threes every night. We're going to have good balance, because we have a lot of options out there, guys that are confident that can space the court and knock down shots.
And those two are going to be front and center in that department. Cruz and Stone, they know their roles. And then we have not seen Trent Pierce tonight, but he is a very capable outside shooter, one of the 3 returning starters. There he is. And he was kind of iffy whether or not he was even going to go today. You see him, he's just in the Missouri sweatshirt dealing with a lingering lower body injury. So the only players not available tonight for Mizzou, Pierce, and then the redshirt freshman Trent Burns, who didn't play last year.
Here's another guy at 6'10", that can make shots from the perimeter, and also a very skilled passer for a big as well. And just another guy that Dennis Gates can put in there to protect the rim, be aggressive.
Cruz straight on 3. Kansas State clears it. Bashir with his eyes up. Abdi Bashir, no. Kansas State just 3 of 13 from distance. Nate Johnson cleans it up, trying to get it back to single digits here. 90 seconds to go in this first half. And Tim, this has been a intense, exciting, this has been a highly competitive first half. And that should stay here.
Well, this is what coaches talk about, the importance of playing these type of games. And you saw it earlier, Purdue, Kentucky, Louisville, Kansas. I mean, it's different than these secret scrimmages. The guys are excited. The lights are on. It's on television. They're in a big time. They're playing a big time competition. It's the real deal. It feels real to these players, that's for sure.
And legitimate crowd too on a Friday night here in Columbia for this type of a game, if you want to put it that way. On the shot attempt that time, that's a foul on Ike Garuke, junior from Ireland. So that sends Anthony Robinson to the line. Robinson continues to feast. He's got 13, hasn't missed, and he's got Missouri here close to 50 points in the first half.
And when you watch Anthony Robinson play, he plays at a pace that's frenetic, 100 miles an hour, but it's under control. He seems to have a purpose to what he wants to do on almost every possession. He's going to make the right pass. He's going to find the angles. He's going to run the team, space the floor. He's going to defend, but looking for his own shot a lot tonight, and he looks pretty good at doing it.
Yeah, just his making the right decisions, and that seems to be that's the obvious goal for Robinson this year. Very much was an offensive initiator last season in his breakout sophomore year. Dennis Gates and this staff, they want him to look for his shot. Could he score 15 a game this year for Missouri? They want that.
I don't see why not. He played about 23 minutes a game a year ago. He's going to get up over 30 this year, so that natural minute increase. Plus, you could see he's really worked on his offensive game.
Haggerty, meanwhile, going to the line, hit the floor hard. That was Phillips who fouled him on the way up.
He just split that trap at the top, or soft double. Double him, you better force him to the side. And now Missouri's tried to double him on a few occasions, and he just keeps his dribble. He widens it out, then he finds an angle, he tacks one of the defenders, and then away we go.
Really skilled redshirt junior from Crosby, Texas. Quite the journey to where he is now at Kansas State. Mark Mitchell back on the floor. And there's one of the freshmen, Nick Randall, having a word with Gates. It's Missouri by 11, a minute left in this preseason battle between the old conference foes. Throw it back. First time they met was 1906. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Well, it's good. Missouri playing K-State in this game tonight, and we know familiar friends, Dennis Gates and Jerome Tang. They've been friends for a long time, and it's good to see guys connecting with each other to help both programs. And you know, Missouri started the end of the 6-year deal, now playing KU again. They'll play in Kansas City this season.
That's
which
right.
is great for college basketball that those two have reunited that rivalry.
So Haggerty does get the job done at the line. 10-point game. Missouri, by the way, Tim, how about 62% shooting in this first half?
Their offense, it's fast and furious, but it is under control, and it's with a purpose. You know, they're going to reverse the floor, they're going to run their stuff, and then try to quickly attack as the ball's reversed.
Mitchell holding it out to Luke Norweather. Bounce it down to Cruz. 5 seconds to shoot now. So Missouri frenzied. Cruz improvising and hit the rim. Shot clock reset. Mitchell down hard. So Mark Mitchell in some discomfort after he went up there to try to put it back in. And he is rotating his, looks like the left wrist, trying to stretch it out. 30 seconds to go in the first.
That's good recognition by Cruz that the shot clock was expiring, and then here comes Mitchell.
Oh, and you saw how, look at the left arm on the way down. He tries to brace his fall. Just landed right on it.
He's doing what the coach wants, though. He had 4 rebounds a game a year ago, and 4.5, almost 5. And Dennis Gates wants to try to get him up to 7. You see him attacking the offensive glass.
So Mitchell finally sits down at the end of the bench. He's grabbing that left wrist. He's stretching it out. Meanwhile, here's Haggerty. 8 seconds on the timer. Haggerty to the rim, throws it up, count it. And the foul for P.J. Haggerty.
So hard to defend because the ability to be under control, going in with both hands, he kind of initiates the contact, and Barrett did a pretty good job on him, but he's got such great body control at the rim. You gotta respect his 3. He shot 39% a year ago, so you've got to get out and pressure him on the perimeter, and when you do, try to force him to that offhand, he'll take it and go either way. He seems to like the left a little bit better.
Yeah, he's made a couple of crafty moves there down the left side of the lane. He has 12, and so it looks like we're gonna take a peek at this last sequence. So Dennis Gates, Lucas Santos, one of our officials, by the way, just came over to explain. So, Tim, we were talking about earlier today, new to the game this year, the implementation of the coach's challenge. At the start of every game, you get one coach's challenge. If you were to, if you win your challenge, you would get another challenge for the remainder of the game. And so what Dennis Gates is appealing here is that there was flagrant contact, a flagrant foul during that prior sequence. I'm assuming, was that when Haggerty swung his elbow on the way in?
I believe so. I mean, it looks like they're looking at it over there on the sideline with the old iPad, which he got him right above the shoulders. Dennis Gates, you know, that's the other piece of that, Kevin, is this, you know, who knows if he would have done this if this was in the regular season, although Dennis Gates had a good angle, and T.O. Barrett gets one right in the chin area. Obviously inadvertent, but still there is contact above the shoulder, so they're going to take a look at this.
Question is, does it rise to the level of upgrading it to a flagrant? And so it does look like there's Pat Adams over there. Our officials, they have deemed that was just a basketball move. So an unsuccessful challenge, and Missouri loses a timeout here. And you can see Dennis pleading his case after
the challenge as well. And, you know, this is, and we were about to say before the officials came over, is that's another good piece of playing a game like this. Is with new rules, you get to see maybe what you would like to challenge, where in the game you must challenge. I mean, there's an art of that, and the coaches aren't used to this yet. So do you want to save your challenge till later in the game? Yeah, but Dennis saw this right there, and he's got one of their better players. And I think in a real game, that's a good challenge, because obviously a guy like Haggerty, you'd want to get him to have another foul.
Well, with 3 seconds after the miss, this is Mack behind the back. 1 second, Mack floats it up, missed it.
So good for both of these young guards.
So a lot of points in that first half. Missouri as a team, by the way, shot 59% from the floor. We told you right off the top how they were one of the more prolific offenses in the nation a year ago, and they averaged about 85 points per game. They won 22 games. Kansas State, I want to see if how much that offense can improve from a fluidity standpoint, a consistency standpoint. You nailed it. Adding Haggerty is critical. And Tim, you nailed it. You were all over it before that. He's going to get other shots as well. So the second half starts. Glad you're with us. Late night hoops, by the way, in Columbia with Tim Welsh, Kevin Fitzgerald with you. Three-pointer is off the mark. Kansas State looking for a better start.
Never too late, Kevin, for a little SEC Big 12,
yeah.
Especially before the month of November. This is bonus basketball, and it's a great idea by ESPN to broadcast what a night we had with Purdue and Kentucky and Louisville, Kansas, and just see a little appetite for what's coming down the road.
Phillips cleaning up the boards. This is the 7-footer. Oh, Phillips showing his nimble footwork underneath. Somehow winds up with it again. This time he's not going to lose the opportunity.
Well, Sean Phillips is a guy that you're going to have to watch this year. And Mark Mitchell not out there on the floor. He got banged up in the first half. He had a pretty good hard fall, so we'll see how they handle that. But Sean Phillips, I think it's important for him to get some major minutes in a game like this, because of the fact he is experienced, but find out where he's going to get his shots in this offense. He's not a guy that they're going to throw the ball to on a lot of occasions, but you can see he can be very physically dominant at the rim.
6 and 6 for Phillips today. Johnson just hit the 3 for Kansas State. And then meanwhile, Sebastian Mack leaves that triple short. So here comes Nate Johnson again. Well, he can score it. Player of the year in the MAC a year ago. Missed it off to the left. So Kansas State trying to tighten this one up. The latter half of that first half. Oh, there's Phillips. Lob threat. There is the danger of Phillips looming underneath. Now he's got 8.
Well, Dorian Buka's got to understand that he's got to body up on guys like Phillips early and often. He can't just let him freeway his way to the rim and rim run. He's got to try to body him up before he gets into the paint.
Stays here with Kansas State. Buka, by the way, is one of the 10 newcomers.
Well, this is Sean Phillips just powering his way through the young man. And this, again, there's Buka not staying connected to Phillips, and he'll learn how to do that. This is one of the things we talked about as far as the coaches understanding and being able to take that film, and they'll show Buka that film right there, that when you play against a guy like Phillips, which they'll play against a lot of those in the Big 12, you better body him up soon.
He's got the cut over his left. That's a cut me mix spot right there.
Yeah.
Took some blows in that first half, perhaps. Here's a run out. Sebastian Mack on the breakaway. Missouri back in front by double digits again. And they have led by a good margin at this point since about the midway mark of the first. Ike Garuke got it to go.
Ike Garuke looks like he's a lot more confident as a scorer in the lane.
That's number 14 in the purple. Haggerty got it taken away by Mack. Sebastian Mack. Oh, goes in strong and finishes.
Well, we haven't talked a lot about Sebastian Mack because Anthony Robinson has dominated, but that is a really good backcourt defensively, first and foremost. But Mack scored 10 points a game for a very good UCLA team a year ago and played major minutes for them, but came back to Missouri.
And then Porter knocks down the triple. Javon Porter splashes his first bucket of the evening.
Another one of those bigs that Dennis Gates talked about that can stretch the floor. He said, we're going to still shoot a lot of threes, but from different spots and from different positions than a year ago. It's not so guard heavy. We're going to have our forwards and our bigs have the ability to step out and shoot as well.
And then Castillo answers with the corner three, the sophomore from Oklahoma. He's got it back to 9. Boy, it's a faster pace start to this second half. Buka shaking out that left shoulder after the whistle, so that foul is on Haggerty. So Honor Boateng is at the line to shoot 2. You know, we mentioned before the Honor Boateng, sophomore from Little Rock, athletically refined, also musically refined. He played the national anthem on the sax pregame, by the way.
Reading the music and everything.
That is neat. He got mobbed by his teammates, by the way, after the performance. He's a modern. Remember Jerry Stackhouse did that during his playing days in the NBA. He sang the anthem a couple of times, then played.
Saw the new general manager of Missouri basketball, Tim Fuller, at halftime. I could see his brain working. Maybe we can get an NIL deal or something. Perform on one of those late night shows or something.
He start his own brass band. Or was that a woodwind? Sometimes I get it mixed up here. That one falls. Okay, it is a woodwind.
Now PJ Haggerty probably right now is a little too unselfish.
Well, there's a block at the rim. Kansas State on the run out. Johnson driving kick. Haggerty gets Norweather flying and buries it. Kansas State back within 2 scores.
Well, you see the ability. Haggerty played the point tonight and done a great job of getting everyone involved in his scoring when he has to. But you can see he can slide out to that wing area and knock down shots as well.
Intense start to the second half. This is fun. Good to see these two teams again in the preseason. You're battling against one another for months. And shortly before the season, it's not just against the Division II team down the road. This is evenly matched competition. Haggerty, not that time. Norweather with the strong 2-hand board. Missouri into the front court very quickly. Stone is calling for it. Here's Jaden Stone. And another for the marksman. He's got 10.
Another guy that can just lock and load. We talked about that in the first half. He is ready to pull the trigger at any moment. Doesn't need a lot of room. He's ready to go, and Missouri doing a good job of finding the open man quickly, and guys aren't holding on to the basketball. They move it from side to side at a good pace.
Johnson left wide open. That's a big knockdown. So they are trading buckets on either end of the floor. Both teams shooting very well to start.
Well, Nate Johnson, Abdi Bashir, and also PJ Haggerty gives Jerome Tang 3 real good offensive players that they didn't have a year ago. And that was really their Achilles heel at times. They go through big scoring droughts.
6-point game. 13:35 on the clock in the second. Porter slips to the basket and a costly turnover. Kansas State has had a bit of the upper hand the last few minutes here. They're trying to trim the deficit, and Haggerty draws the foul. Last time these two were in the same conference, Kim English, a bit, obviously a very familiar name around these parts. He was running the league. It was 2012 when Missouri actually won the Big 12 tournament. They won 30 games that year. Kansas State was also a tournament team back during that season as well. Mizzou obviously moves on to the SEC, but what is it, 230 some odd matchups against these two programs in the regular season. Long-time conference rivals. And that certainly resonates with the folks, of course, in this community. We're in Columbia tonight for this one.
And Kevin, another good, strong move to the rim by Boateng. Ability to play through contact. He's got a big, strong upper body, learning how to play different angles and get to the rim under control and finish.
Largest lead of the night. Now it's a 19-point cushion for Mizzou. There is some great upside for number 6 in the white. Bashir knocks down the triple. This coaching staff likes what Boateng could be capable of off the bench. He was a highly regarded recruit last year. Just dealt with an injury for much of last season. Didn't play that much, only 17 games. Porter finds the cutter, who's open underneath. The rookie, that time Randall, might have gotten that shot partially blocked. Haggerty goes in strong and finishes.
It's just the body control, the ability to read the defense and twist and turn and adjust in midair.
Robinson hits Porter, left it short. Porter again.
And that short roll there, and Javon Porter had the second opportunity, but you see K-State a little late on their rotations. Kevin, you asked about what coaches will take, and that's another thing. That's another teaching point. And I know as fans, they all want to look at the offense, but defensively, those are really good basketball teams as well. And anytime you pick Kansas 6th, then you got to raise your eyebrows and say, wait a minute, are they supposed to be 6th, or is the league just a monster?
Yep.
I think, how would you pick amongst any of those teams? I think any one of those top 6 or 7 could win the league. And at the end of the day, it's a Premier League again, along with the SEC.
So Kansas, by the way, played Louisville earlier tonight. Kansas wins in their exhibition bout against Louisville. And Darren Peterson, who of course has generated a whole lot of interest and buzz as well, went for 26 in that game against Louisville. So it has been a great evening of preseason hoops. And again, you talk to these coaches, I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg with matchups like this in the lead up to the season.
Well, there's a lot you have to teach your team. The basics. The basics of basketball, the basics of how to prepare on the road, being in the hotel, shutting the lights off, turning your phone off, getting to the pregame meal, watching film, coming to the shoot around, getting to the bus on time, there's just a group of things that normal fans don't think of, but as a coach, you've got to make sure every little item is buttoned up before it's for real, and this gives you an opportunity. And we talked about it earlier at one point today during the shoot around. Kansas State practiced their huddle, where to sit, how to you're in the second row, you're paying attention, you're not looking up in the crowd, all of those type things. And that's why these games are important. And you don't get those out of a secret scrimmage so much. I mean, you get certain things out of a secret scrimmage. Of course, you can play 50 minutes and control the time and score. You can play game situations, which they won't have tonight. But I think this gives you a greater feel of the game, the real game atmosphere. Being on television. I see Jerome over there. He's working on his mid-season, working the refs, which is important.
Got to start. You got to start now.
Well, you don't practice that in the off-season for sure.
Everything about tonight, and of course just the lead-up. It felt real. To your point, it's different from the scrimmages, or it's different from those matchups, those scrimmages that are closed previously to the public. Boy, Honor Boateng drills another triple. So Boateng into double figures. He's the 4th Tiger with 10 or more points. He has 12.
Well, every coach likes to talk about their player development and how good it is. And what coach is going to say we don't have good player development? But when Dennis Gates says it, they can back it up with numbers over last year coming into this year. You can see it. And guys like Boateng are improved offensively and more confident, and guys that can come in and give them minutes. And you look at even Anthony Robinson. You saw what he could do last year in the best league in the country. Now, offensively, much more confident, looking for his own shot, running the team. Going to get many more minutes than he did a year ago. He's going to get up into the 30s instead of averaging 23 minutes a game.
And they have wanted him to look for his shot and be more aggressive. He has. He's got 16. So he's leading all Missouri scores. Meanwhile, on the other side, P.J. Haggerty has the 21 points, also 6 assists. Haggerty 7 of 13 from the floor as well. So he has been very efficient.
Of course, Mark Mitchell has been out since the end of the first half when he had that hard fall in the lane, and
boy, just lob it over the top to Phillips. There's another two-hand smash. So Phillips with 14.
These guys are big and strong, but he still can't do what he does at the rim. And just jumping and dunking. He's got to find an angle. He's got to read the defense. His teammates have to know where he is. You have to slide and move as your defender moves, and that's where Phillips, I'm very impressed with him, his basketball IQ as far as positioning himself to just catch it with little extra